or not good enough, that something's holding you back. It's heavy stuff. But what if we've been looking at it completely wrong?
Yeah, I mean, what if those cracks, what if our scars, our struggles, all those things we call imperfections, what if they aren't holding us back at all? What if they're the very source of our greatest power? That's what we're digging into. So let's get into the story. It's about a boy and his kite. And like a lot of great stories, it kicks off with a simple dream. But that dream is about to hit a wall, a very harsh reality. Okay, so picture this. There's this big, vibrant festival, just buzzing with energy. And there's a young boy who's saved up his money and finally buys himself this beautiful, simple red kite. And for him, it's not just paper and wood. It's his hope. It's his dream, ready to fly.
He lets it go, and for just one amazing second, it catches the wind. It's flying. But then, bam, a collision. A much bigger, stronger kite just smacks right into his. And in a heartbeat, a huge tear rips right down the middle. His dream, his heart, it all just comes crashing down.
And if that wasn't bad enough, the people around him start to mock him. You can just hear their words stinging, right? Your kite is broken. It's useless. It'll never fly. The boy is just crushed. Tears in his eyes, totally ready to give up.
But right there, at his lowest point, something changes. Just as he's about to throw the kite away, he remembers something. Something his father told him. And this, right here, is the turning point for the whole story.
He remembers his father's words. Strength isn't imperfection, but in how you rise after falling. And boom, it's a total shift in how he's seeing things. Real strength isn't about never getting hurt or being flawless. It's all about the comeback. It's about what you do after you get knocked down. So he takes that wisdom to heart. He makes a choice. He's not going to throw his dream away. Instead, he finds a piece of paper and just patches the hole. It's not pretty. It's not perfect. But it's an act of hope, an act of defiance. He's going to try again. All right, so this is it. The moment of truth. The patched up kite with its big, visible scar is about to face the wind again. And what happens next? Well, it's pretty much a miracle. So you're probably wondering, how did this even work? It's incredible, really. When the wind hits the kite, it doesn't just push against it like a solid wall. Instead, a little bit of the wind actually flows through that patched up hole. And this one little change completely transformed the kite's aerodynamics. It created this totally unique and powerful lift. And the difference was, well, it was everything. All those perfect kites out there, they were fighting the wind, which made them heavy and wobbly. But the boy's broken kite, it started working with the wind. That little hole made it lighter, gave it amazing balance, and let it slice through the air way faster than any other kite up there. The result was just, wow. The patched kite didn't just fly. It soared. It climbed higher. It went faster, leaving every single perfect kite way, way below it. It just kept going until it was this tiny red dot, almost touching the clouds. And watching this happen, the boy just shouts with pure joy. He gets it now. His whole perspective has just flipped. His kite isn't broken. The one thing that was supposed to be its weakness, that's what made it unbeatable. It's invincible. So, okay, what does all this mean for us, for our lives? This is where we get to the really good stuff, finding our own unbeatable power. The lesson here is so powerful and so clear. The thing that everyone mocked, that tear, that patch, that was the secret. That was the whole reason for its success. What looked like a weakness was actually its greatest superpower. And you know what? That is so true for us too. Think about it. Some things break when you put pressure on them, but other things and other people, they actually get stronger because of the stress. It's more than just being resilient. It's about growing. Your biggest strengths are so often hiding in the challenges you've beaten, the unique stuff you've been through, and yeah, even in the parts of you that you or someone else once called a weakness. So, I want to leave you with this thought. Take a look at your own story. What's the patch you're carrying? What's the wound or the flaw that might actually be the very thing that lets you work with the wind, the thing that gives you a unique lift that nobody else has, the thing that makes you, in your own incredible way, totally invincible?
Absolutely nothing to do with the problem itself. Not the size of it, not how bad it is. Nope. It is all about the size of the container you put it in. And that one little idea, that's the key to everything we're about to unpack. So, our story kicks off with a search for wisdom, as so many of these do. Picture a young man who is just completely overwhelmed by life. He's at his breaking point, feeling all the sorrow and pain. And in total desperation, he goes to find a wise old sage, hoping for some kind of magic fix.
But the sage, he doesn't just sit him down for a long, boring lecture or give him some confusing riddle. Instead, he starts with a super simple, hands-on experiment. And this is where the lesson really starts to click, and it all begins with just a glass of water. The sage gives the young man a handful of salt and says, This is all your pain, all your sorrow. And the first instruction is simple. Put all of that salt into a small glass of water, give it a stir, and then take a drink.
And the young man's reaction is, well, it's exactly what you'd think. He takes one tiny sip and immediately spits it right back out. It's just unbearably bitter. The salt has completely taken over.
But the sage isn't done yet. He just kind of nods, and then he leads the young man away from the cup, down to the shore of this huge, shimmering lake. Now the second part of the lesson is about to start, and the change in scale here, well, it's everything.
So once again, the sage hands him a handful of salt, and this is so important. It is the exact same amount of salt as before. The problem didn't get any smaller, but this time he's told to throw that salt into the massive lake and then take a drink.
And the result? It's a total night and day difference. In that tiny cup, the salt was just overwhelming, bitter, awful. But in the lake, its bitterness is just gone. It's completely dissolved. He takes a drink, and the water is totally fresh. And think about this. The salt is still in there. It just has zero power anymore.
And boom, there it is. The big aha moment. The sage turns to him and lays out the entire lesson in one powerful sentence. The pain in your life, it's just like that handful of salt. How intense it feels, how bitter it is. That all depends on the size of the container you put it in.
So you see, this isn't just some nice little story. It's a practical guide. The wisdom here is a direct invitation for you, for me, for all of us. Stop focusing on the salt, the problems, and start working on expanding the container. It's a call to action to consciously become the lake in your own life.
And here's what that actually looks like. If your perspective, your heart, is as small as a cup, even the tiniest little problem can make your entire world taste bitter. But if you can cultivate a mindset that's as vast and wide as a lake, you can absorb even the biggest troubles without losing your sense of peace. So here's the big takeaway. This is the whole point, right? It's a choice. We can choose to stop being a cup, all narrow, easily overwhelmed, letting our problems define us, or we can choose the alternative. We can actively work on expanding our perspective, our patience, our heart. We can choose to become the lake. And that leaves us with one last, really powerful thought to chew on. Maybe the goal was never to live a life without any salt. Maybe the real journey is to expand our hearts so much that the salt just loses its power to poison us. Because in the end, it's not what happens to you that defines your life. It's how you choose to hold it.